Everyone, it's Yvonne here to do the reading for the lovely sign of Libra. Before I go any further, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your beautiful comments and the support you offer me along the way. It's always appreciated. If you would like a personal reading with me, I am still doing personal readings. You would need to contact me through the aussiegoddess@gmail.com, which is all one word, no numbers, all spelt correctly. And I can send you any offers that I've got on the table at the moment. We are going to use the Ethereal Tarot for this reading today. That's the one with all the gold embossing. Okay, we have Cancer coming out here. So before I go any further though, I always like to do my little blurb on finding out more about yourself astrologically. So if you're a Libra and you identify as a Libra, it's more than likely you're talking about your Libra sun. So when you were born, there were a lot of planets that aligned to make you who you are. And when they aligned, they landed in different houses. And your chart is, I've met people who've had a really, really similar chart to me, but it will always be different somewhere. So what you need to do if you want to find out more is Google natal chart or birth chart. Put in all the details for your birth. If you have your time of birth, you can get your ascendant or rising, but you can still get a good chart without it. And work out where all the planets were when you were born. If you can get a free report, I know Cafe Astrology do a free report, print one up because you can go back and have a look at it at different intervals and really enjoy what you're finding out. And a lot of it will resonate with you. Some might not. I know when I did mine, there was a bit of conflicting stuff, which I sort of get now, but I didn't when I first read it. You know, we sort of think we know it ourselves very well, but then as we get older, we do start to change things about ourselves as we grow. So it's good fun to do. Nine of Wands jumping out here. So I'll work out how that falls into the reading. Alrighty, let's get into this. Okay, so we're starting off with the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands for me, if it was in a personal reading, can talk about a lot of different things, but I often feel this is a house move or you're looking for a house. So it could be that you're doing that at the moment. The Knight of Wands is quite a fast, flippant energy. So sometimes it can mean that you're feeling really passionate and driven about something, but it's short-lived. For me, the Knight of Wands can also talk about players, people coming into our lives and leaving very quickly again because they burn out very quickly. But that's the sort of energy the Knight of Wands brings through. This can be your energy, it can be somebody you're dealing with. You do have the Magician behind that. Okay, so we've got a brand new beginning and the Hermit. Wow. All right, Ten of Swords. There is some sort of cycle you're breaking out of here. And I feel like whatever's come to you here may have come through healing, but it's come through very quickly as some sort of epiphany or wake-up moment. And again, it sort of feels very similar to, 3:33 on the clock, very similar to the What's Cracking reading. I'm going to go a little bit deeper on this one because I want to find what exactly this is talking about. You know, sometimes we can just do something over and over and over again. Like, for example, I always talk about having the relationship with the same person just with a different face. So, you know, we can repeat behaviors. And sometimes we get them along the way. Sometimes they take a while to sink in. Sometimes something else has to happen. Like I've often said, I get little messages through TV shows or reading books, and I think, aha, there it is right there, that little epiphany moment. You may have been dealing with somebody here that you may have been very invested in, but they may not have felt quite the same way about you. But I feel like almost like you've dropped into it so quickly, you may have become very overwhelmed with a situation, and now you want more, but that person's not investing. All right, so we have the Magician. So something here has come through very, very quickly. We do have this healing in energy and this sort of ending of a cycle. You could have been dealing with a Cancer here. You wanted to move forward with someone. It looks like you had an incredible connection with them. Somebody felt like love was on the horizon, and then somebody moved in the opposite direction. I feel very strongly here that whatever this is for you, there has been an amazing wake-up call. Not because you've been in this situation before, but perhaps now there's been a realization that something within you needs to be healed. So let's keep going. I've got the Wheel of Fortune with the Hierophant. A lot of major arcanas. We have the Justice card coming with all major arcanas with the Artist. I feel like here, especially with the Justice card and the Hierophant, you could have got quite a long way down a path with a person. You may have thought that it was going to end up in marriage or commitment, and then somehow or another this person's either flown the coop or decided they don't want the same things you do. So it could be that you've talked about things along the way and they've been very upfront and clear with you about what they did and didn't want. But I'm feeling here that maybe you were with someone who you felt was on the same page as you. So you may have felt very close to them. You may have been talking about the same things, marriage, commitment, and then one day they've just said, I don't want this anymore. I don't feel like you've been ghosted. It just feels to me like somebody's giving you a whole lot of hoo-ha about what they wanted and what you wanted and how your paths aren't aligning. And I feel like you've put a lot of energy into this. But you see, you've got the Justice card here. And always with the Justice card, I have to wonder if there wasn't a lesson for you here. You know, sometimes people are sent in just to show us ourselves. They mirror back to us what we need to see. And rest assured that if you've had that done to you, then it's very, very likely the other person has had it done to them too. So sometimes you're just mirroring back to each other. Okay, so we have the Temperance card coming through with the Empress, wow, and the Three of Swords. To me, this is, you know, this one of these situations, it almost feels like a twin flame connection where you've had such a strong connection with somebody that you've just felt like you're both. I always feel like that feeling that, you know, you've just met another alien, somebody who really understands you, somebody who knows where you're coming from on things. But it sort of always feels strongly like you've come home to something. And it's an energy that often is equated to attachment disorders, but also narcissists can create that energy themselves. So you could have been dealing with either. But the fact I've got the Empress here makes me feel like you felt this person really brought you alive, gave you something here that you'd never had before. And this Three of Swords says to me that you have felt this very hard. Now, it could have happened a while back because we have the Wheel of Fortune here, but I feel like perhaps it's only starting to sort of hit you or occur to you something now from that situation. So you've had some, yeah, Seven of Swords, rightio, with the Five of Pentacles, very much so, and the Six of Pentacles. You know, sometimes when we're so entrapped in the love for that person that we don't see anything the way we need to see it. We're only seeing it through our own lens. And I feel like whatever this is here and however long ago it was, it has left you feeling still quite hurt by the whole situation. So you might have felt like you healed, but then you go through pockets of time where you think about them and you start to sort of dig down deeper again and you get into this little hole again, which is what I learned. That was my epiphany. Stop taking yourself down the rabbit hole, because I couldn't cope with that energy. So there is something that's happened here. Maybe you've seen something, heard about that person, or something's happened where you're looking back now thinking, wow, I'm on the outside, I'm seeing this for what it is. It reminds me of and I've heard quite a few people in this situation where you break up with someone and you're devastated and you're that person saying they're not ready for a relationship, they want to do it alone, they want to be single, whatever. And the next minute they get married and you're like, hang on a moment, how did that happen? or they've had, I know somebody very close to me, that same thing happened. The next thing is in another relationship and the girl's had a baby. And I think that, you know, people perhaps don't see themselves what they want until they're out of a situation. But it can be very heartbreaking for you if that person's done that to you. Like if they've run off and got married after they've told you they didn't want to get married. This is the sort of wake up call I'm getting here. Like that real slap in the face that says, I have been grieving about this person for a really long time. I've been absolutely devastated about what happened. And then something happens that just makes you go, hang on a moment. I've just been looking at this all the wrong way. I have been hurting. I've been struggling to heal, struggling to get myself back into balance. And meanwhile, that person's gone and found somebody else. And then you start to do the blame thing. Why wasn't I good enough? Why couldn't I have been this? Why couldn't I have done that? Which, of course, is just that nature. You couldn't have done anything. You couldn't have done anything. I feel like in this particular situation, whoever you were dealing with here was probably just not invested in you. They may have said they were, they may have even thought they were, but they've moved on. And I feel like they've gone to a completely new situation, and perhaps that's where the wake-up calls come in. All right, let's pull you an oracle card, Libra. We'll read one from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. The Ghost Dance. Oh, that jumped out too. All right, it's card 22. There it is. The ghost dance of the American Plains Indians united the spirits of the living with those of the ancestors to bring peace to the world. When the ancestors are honored, they bring harmony to us. And maybe this is something that your ancestors are doing, perhaps showing you something that you've missed or you weren't really sure of, that's going to help you understand your own patterns. When we hold them responsible for all that is wrong with us today, they haunt us. So it talks about honoring your past lives and honoring the spirits. The ancestors have a message of healing and a powerful medicine to offer you. Create a sacred moment at your altar, light a candle to them, and let their wisdom infuse you. At this stage in your life, you are done repeating the tragic stories. Step into the abundance that is offered to you. Receive the gifts. I feel like this is what's happened. I feel like perhaps you have had some sort of sign or some sort of, like I said, wake up call, epiphany, whatever you like to call it, where somebody here has stepped into your life to show you the pattern that you've created. So I feel like I want to read you the medicine here as well, because I feel really like it's going to help. It says, if you are trapped in a vicious cycle of nostalgia, mourning a lost youth or an opportunity, it is time to make an altar for the ancestors. So it says, be wary of being snared in a relationship with someone from a past lifetime, as the people we loved or hurt have a way of reappearing in our lives. There is no learning for you there anymore. So often we have had karma that comes through in a lifetime. This is why your ancestors are here. That has happened in a lifetime before, but we keep repeating the pattern, not realizing that we need to heal from it in this lifetime. And sometimes things can get worse as they go along. You know, this is particularly relevant if you've dealt with narcissistic people, because as you go, they can get worse and worse until you heal that within yourself. And it's not unlikely that somebody will say to you, you know, I left this relationship and then I met someone new and they were exactly the same. I mean, occasionally I meet someone who's just, you know, hit the jackpot and met somebody wonderful after struggling for a long time. But in this particular scenario, I feel like these spirits are here to show you the way forward, to help you move past what has happened there. Because somehow or another, there's some sort of karmic energy that is showing its face to you that you need to heal so you can move on. But I will leave you with that. It was a very, very relevant card to get with that reading. So If you were ghosted, especially, I would say to you that there is definitely a very important message for you there as well. I will leave you with that. Thank you.